I'm gonna take these two Marvel characters and make them some horror posters using Photoshop. Because we all know that Marvel doesn't have the guts to add more guts. So hop into my spaceship and let's take off. So to start this Captain America poster, I'll add some cement, and then I actually downloaded a 3D model of Captain America's shield and Blender, so let's just add that to the poster, and then fix the lighting on the ground to match the lighting I put on the shield. So I'll just go around and add some soft shadows onto the cement. Now that that's done, I'll add some more ambient shadows onto the ground. But the poster is still pretty empty, so to fix that, we need to add some more items. Oh wait, check it out, that's Earth. Damn. Anyways, let's add this assault rifle at the bottom, which already has some blood on it, but don't worry, I'll be adding a lot more later.
Yeah, boy.
But I also added a knife on the top right. Next, I added a hand on the bottom that looks kind of limp, and I'll just add a knife as well. I added some shadows and also changed the color of the handle to an American blue color because I wanted the knife to have an American flag design on it, but that just didn't work. So after that, I added a drop shadow onto the hand and added some more manual shadows onto it after. But to be honest, I didn't really like this knife, so I'll just remove it, and let's just take this one we added at the top and put that into the hand with some shadows. But now we need to add something at the top, so let's add this pistol. Let's remove the shadow and then add our own lighting with some shadows on the bottom side and some highlights on the top. Let's add this other cool weapon I forgot the name of. I'm gonna make the rifle a little bit darker since it's kind of in the shadows, and then do the same with the hand. But alright, I know some of you noticed that the shield isn't a perfect circle. So let's use the ellipse tool to make it an actual circle. I also added a camera raw filter for some more texture, but let's save that so it applies to the poster. Let's add a new hand on the left and adjust the shadows a little bit on the hand and ground. And now let's just put that knife thing on top of the new hand that we added. The poster is looking pretty good so far, and I had to send one of the Jord clones out to fix the satellites on the spaceship, but that's no big problem. Okay, that's a problem. We need to get out of here. Don't worry about that guy, he's just a clone. But let's get back to the poster and add some blood. I first added this blood puddle, but I eventually deleted it, so let's add some blood spatter onto the shield because this would get pretty bloody. But now let's go around all the different items and add some blood onto those. This is definitely looking a lot cooler, and we don't even have a camera raw filter on it yet, but we also don't have a title. So let's type out Captain America in the Captain America font. I added a stroke on the outside, but it looks terrible. I ended up deleting it later, but first let's add a metal-like texture onto the text and then add a bevel and emboss instead of that stroke. And then we'll also change the color to blue because it looks cool. But let's add some blur to the stuff behind it to make the title stand out a little bit more. And finally, to complete the image, I'll add a camera raw filter on top of everything. So this is Captain America, but a lot more gory. You know, I like to think that these hands aren't actually connected to a body and Captain America just cut them off. I think it's simple, but definitely scary if that was the case. So let me know, would you buy tickets to this movie? I wouldn't. I would pirate the movie. Now let's move on to the next poster for the most popular character in the MCU, the one and only Iron Man. And if you don't remember, this is actually the mask for the Iron Man Mark I suit. And I think with a little bit of blood, this would look perfect.
Stop it. Get some help.
The first thing I'm gonna do is use the pen tool to cut out the mask. But when that's finally done, I'll use the pen tool again to cut the mask in half and adjust that a little bit. To give it some more depth, I'll make a copy of that shape and remove everything that isn't on the left side of the mask, and then add a texture on it with an inner bevel, which I think looks pretty good. Next, I added some grungy textures on the background, but let's add the actor, Robert Downey Jr., behind the mask to look like he's wearing it. After that, I removed the right side of his body because we don't need it, and also fixed up the image a little bit. I'll go down the split in the mask with some shadows on his face and then adjust the opacity to look more realistic. I'll go back over his face with a softer exposure layer to make it even better, but the fact that his eye is being cut off by the mask is kind of pissing me off. So let's fix it by just warping the mask until it looks good. Once again, I'll add even more shadows, but this time on the edge of his face, and now I need to do that again, but with the mask. So far, this poster is looking good, but there's an asteroid coming really close to the spaceship, and we need to do something about it. Wait, check it out, look at those guys. Hey, maybe they can help us find a new planet. Okay, maybe not. But speaking of killing things, we need to go around this mask and add some blood, because, I mean, this mask is terrifying. Luckily, we found a new planet we can try to live on, so let's speed this baby up and head to our new home. But for the poster, let's add this Marvel logo at the bottom because, I mean, it's Marvel. Let's also add the title in the Iron Man font and say Iron Man. Obviously, I mean, do I really have to? And add a metal-like texture on top with an inner bevel and dark red color overlay. I also kindly removed his eyes, but that was later, so for the camera raw filter, the eyes were still there. But like I said, I added a camera raw filter to fix up some textures and color grading. Look at this beautiful planet. I mean, it might not be Earth, but I think it's gonna work. It's almost as beautiful as this poster. Let's check it out. Which poster do you like more? Let me know in the comments, but don't forget to text someone and tell them to have a good day. Anyways, feel free to check out one of these videos. I know it's a hard choice, but you really can't go wrong here.